Somebody had asked earlier, just a minute ago, how do I get into my trades without getting stopped out repeatedly? I get stopped out probably 10, 20 times each day. That is a major part, Carnes. That is a major part of my process. I'm right or right out immediately, dude. If I sell, the S&P is trading at 94 right now. If I sell 94s and they go bid, I'm out. If I sell 94s, right here, if I sell 94s and they go 94 bid, I get out, period. If I sell 94s and the market stays offered below my here, like if I sell 94s, well, now I put in a scratch stop. I'm not interested in losing money. I don't risk money. Somebody had asked me, a guy that I used to trade with in the NASDAQ pit not long ago, we were golfing at my country club, and he asked me if, how much money I risk per trade. And I told him nothing. I don't risk anything. I spend money. I spend money. I have market expenses. This is a business. It's not gambling. I'll spend money when I've got clarity as to what the market is at least trying to do. I'll spend money in the market. I'm not going to risk it. The trade works. How about this? The trade works right away, or it doesn't. And you get out, you take your expense, and you wait. Learn how to trade, guys. This is really the greatest business in the world, as long as you're not over risking.
Now, on a day like today, will you just be super focused on that S&P chart, or will you also be looking at the bonds, VIX, dollar yen, cross asset markets to try to get a guide if any other markets are giving you signal? Or is this one of those days where it's just you're in your one chart here?
I'm in not necessarily my chart, but I'll be paying attention to the domes when we open. Now, like yesterday before we opened, and this morning too, I'm paying attention to all those factors and to all those things. Like I said earlier, yesterday did not look like a risk-on event to me, but that didn't mean that I want to fade it because the market doesn't look like a risk-on event. I'm not going to sell that. Because quite often the S&P can readjust the market. The S&P or NASDAQ rallying can turn around and have a reverberating effects in bonds and stir in metals, and in the capital flows with the dollar, yen, and VIX too. So, I'm going to trade my process when the market opens. Time for thinking for me is before it opens and before it and after it closes. Right now, I'm ready to go. So when the market opens, I'm going to change it to a shorter term chart so I can see these rotations will set up. The opening range will populate on this. This is my indicator. So if you guys are trading on Ninja, go to my website and download this free free indicator, which will give you the opening ranges and give you the rotations as they happen. These are all predetermined levels. Here's the NASDAQ yesterday, okay? These are all predetermined levels. The NASDAQ rotates in 65 handle increments, and here you can see it. 65 handle, this is an hourly chart. Let's change it to something a little bit shorter term. So, this is what yesterday's trade looked like during the day, right? I mean, look at this. I mean, oh gosh. Okay, here's the opening range, bottom of the opening range. We start taking it out. It's just, sell, 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 sell. You cover at these levels, you don't leave a runner on, and then add through them. And then we get back up through it, you take profit. You just trade these like ladder runs. I'm the least handy man in the world, so it's not like I don't find too many occasions to be on top of a ladder. I hire people for that. But, I've seen people walk up and down ladders, and you walk down this, you walk, and then, oh wait, stop here, and you got to move back a little bit. I mean, to me, this is simple, and it takes the guesswork out, it takes the subjectivity out of it, and it makes it objective. I want to, if we're below the opening range, I'm going to be short. If we're above it, I'm going to be long, no matter what my opinion is, and no matter what my guess is telling me. That doesn't mean that I need to trade it though. If I don't, I don't need to be. At this point in my career too, Craig, I don't, I'm not trading every day. I'm trading when there's clarity and when the market tells me something. If I was in front of the screens yesterday, and I wasn't because I was getting my old man eye disease fixed, or not fixed, but getting my glaucoma arrested for a little bit of time. If I was in front of the screens yesterday, I would not have traded yesterday's opening because we just didn't go anywhere. I would have been short underneath 47.5, and I'd have taken profit at 33. I would have sold more and taken profit at 17, every 15 handles down in the S&P. It takes the onus off of me and puts it on my process. Yep. And that's how I survive. That's how I thrive. Nobody makes money every day except for YouTube streamers. Nobody. But you can be consistent. You should make money every week as a trader, as an intraday trader, or at least break even. I don't know. Yeah, there's only two parts to every trade. Whether you're an intraday swing trader like me, or you're trading bigger swings or whatever, managing your risk and managing your profit. That's it. And if you're, there's four types of traders. There's traders that are consistently losing money. There are traders that are break even. There are traders that are consistently profitable, small, and then there are those that become financially free. So if you're consistently losing money, you never learn how to properly manage the first part of the trade. You never learn how to manage your risk. You've got 20 handle stops, or you don't have stops, or you're risking too much to make too little, so you don't learn how to manage your risk, you lose money. Break-even trader, they learn how to manage their risk, but they don't learn how to manage their profit. Consistently profitable traders learn how to manage their risk. They learn how to manage their profit. Those that become financially free learn how to manage their risk, learn how to manage their profit, and they learn how to exploit their profit. They learn how to add to their positions. Here is an ad, here is an ad, here is an ad. So if you start off with a 4 lot, by the time you get here, you take profit on them, you got 2. We go offer through here, you sell 4 more, now you're short 6. You take profit on 2 of those, you're still short 4. We go offer below, you sell 4 more, now you're short 8. You just keep laddering down and laddering down and laddering down. The mini micro spread is a way that something I came up with to help underfunded traders learn how to trade. You can trade 20 lot minis, micros, 10 lot micros, 20 lot micros, but you're going to pay a lot of commissions. If you learn how to trade out in the spread, you're going to actually learn how to manage remember earlier, 2 types every trade. If you trade out trading minis, or trade in minis and out in micros, not only will you learn how to manage your risk or manage your expenses, in my words, but you will learn how to manage your profit and to exploit it. There are multiple ways of adding to your size in this. Now, again, from my standpoint, I'm going to size down. Normally I trade either 8 to 16 lot mini units, and I'll take profit and add along the way. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to trade 2 lot and 20 lot micros to show you guys how to trade the spread. Somebody had asked me earlier if I limit my round turns. I do. I call it my 2x4. Okay. If I take 2 expenses, I'm going to cut my size, and then I'm going to give myself 2 more expenses, and that's it. Not money. I should never. Here's a whole nother issue, or a whole nother thing. If I'm trading 4 lots, 4 minis, I trade 16 or 8. But if I'm trading 4 minis, I should never. What do you guys think your max drawdown should be on a 4 lot trading? Put it in the chat. Let me see what your answers are. What do you think that your max drawdown on a 4 lot would be? If you're trading 4 lot units, what would your max drawdown be? A deuce? I don't know. Oh, some of you know what the answer is. Okay, all day long, there you go. You should never spend more than $800. If you're trading a 4 lot, you should never spend more than $800, period. That's it. You spend $800, you cut your size and put yourself on the bench until something becomes utterly clear to you. And if you're trading a 2 lot, like today, I'm going to trade in 2 lot minis and out in 20 lot micros. You should never spend more than $400. Now, if I'm spending more than $800, I'm over trading. I need to be able to manage my expenses to the point that once I pay for my trade, I'm even. Now listen, okay, now I don't trade my P&L. Nowhere on here will you see my P&L up. I keep track of how many round turns I take, how many expenses I take. And when I'm trading smaller, I'll take a little bit more expense. When I'm trading bigger, I'll take a little bit more expense. And also I'm a very well capitalized trader, so I can, I don't mind taking bigger expenses in markets that are moving, because I know that I'll make more money. But the point is that I need to protect myself with, just a simple 2x4. 2 expenses, cut size, give myself 2 expenses. Commissions, that's why we trade in minis and not micros. It's going to cut your commissions in half. What many of you don't realize is that the NASDAQ was $100 a tick per 1 lot, $100 a tick. And then they changed it to half ticks and then quarter ticks. So we are $100 a point. Could you guys imagine trading, you know, the NASDAQ at $100 a point with the 300, 400 point range? It was some hairy shit. A lot of those guys did not survive. I mean, like they're dead, like they died.
Right.
You know, it was fun if you knew how to manage yourself. But anyway, so
But Pax, the idea is to enter with minis and then to use the micros as risk mitigation, as P&L extraction tools,
Yes.
right? So you're entering with the minis, you're using the micros to help adjust your position. So you're, instead of being, you know, if you're in short one mini and then you cover with 2 micros, and now you're short 0.8 minis, right? And that's the idea, is that you're kind of using micros to scale up and size down, book P&L, stop out in a way that helps defray your commission costs, and also helps you if you're a smaller trader, so you don't have to trade these kind of big units, right?
Thank you for bringing me back. Yeah, Craig, that's exactly right. Yes, and it gives you the ability as a small trader to learn how to add your position. So let's go back to yesterday. Let's say you sell a 2 lot, you sell 2 minis at 32.5. We make it down to 17.5. You buy 5 micros, or you buy 10 micros. So now you're short 2 and you're long 10. We go 17.5 offer and you want to add your position, but you don't have the margin. You cover the micros, and now you're back being short 2 from 32.5. And then down to 05, you buy 10 micros back in. So now you're short 2 here, long 10 micros here. This is a great way to be able to learn how to add to your positions. It's the same thing as trading a 4 lot. 1, you sell 4, you buy 2. You sell 4 more, you buy 2, right? So, but you need the margin in your account. You need the experience to be able to know how to handle yourself and keep your expenses low. This gives you the ability to start to learn how to add your positions without actually adding to your risk. You're short 2 from 32.5. You buy 5 micros at 18. You buy 5 more at 17. You're short 2, long 10. You pitch the micros here underneath here, and you're back being short 2. Does that make sense, or is that confusing? So then we get down to 02F, you buy 10 back in. We go 02F offer, you pitch the 10, you get out of the 10, and now you're back short 2 from 32F. You just keep adding to your position. It's like you're short 4. It's a great way to learn how to add. It's a great way to learn how to trade. So many of you guys are learning from some fucking bullshit, and I don't know how you're going to survive. If you want to have a long-term profitable career, 90% of traders are going to fail. Why in God's name do you want to think and act like 90% of traders? I don't. I don't diddle in the middle. I am not going to trade in the middle of nowhere. Every time I've done that, I've gotten killed. So I'm going to wait for the market to come to one of those algorithmic places, and I'm going to get long or short there. So, you know, right now going into with 6 minutes in front of the market open, it is all about my mindset. It's all about kind of, you know, my mind works quickly. So it's all about kind of slowing my mind down. It's about lowering my heart rate, lowering my blood pressure, so that when the market opens, I see all of this in slow motion whenever on the domes. I see everything on the domes in slow motion when everybody sees it chaotically. You know, I need to be able to slow things down. So when we get to like 827, 828, I'll do some box breathing, you know, just some simple breathing techniques. Yeah. So I'll breathe in 4 seconds, hold it 4 seconds, breathe out 4 seconds.